Our next guest has just concluded a study on challenges faced by innovative young companies in industrial manufacturing. Matthias Odrobina from PwC will provide us with the view of an active investor in the field of industrial manufacturing.
The clicker?
Here, I have the clicker for you.
Thank you.
Please, Matthias.
Thank you. So, welcome everybody, and thanks for listening, for having me. Maybe just to give you some perspective. No. No.
Oh.
I think we need to go one back, please.
What the? Is it? Now it's working. Okay,
so everybody
great.
knows, I guess, PwC is a large audit company. That's not a secret. Most of you guys know that PwC also has a large consulting business doing digital transformation, consulting, management consulting around industry-focused topics. But I guess that almost nobody knows that we are also, since a couple of years, an active investor in the industrial tech, industrial IoT, Industry 4.0 space. That's what we are basically doing as a team. What we're doing is we invest in young, innovative companies, I wouldn't call them startups, they're too late. They're young SME companies with a strong growth case, digital, industry-focused. So basically exactly the companies you wanna or you should work with in this auditorium, in this group. We look at young companies with real entrepreneurs, convincing setup, etc. But this is just to give you the context. So I'm not talking as a consultant, definitely not as an auditor. Hope this works. Why are we investing? Well, first of all, to some extent, because we expect a certain return, we want to make money at some point, right? But this is only one point. The other point is we think that digitization, all the topics that we discussed yesterday and today, to some extent, and at some point, they will be necessary and they will drive competitiveness, they will drive growth, they will drive sustainable business here in Germany, in Europe, and we want to be part of that. We want to drive that. At the same time, obviously, we wanna profit from that. To be honest, we think, and this is one of our older studies from our consulting colleagues, that and you can see digitization in the industry will have a huge impact. The numbers, I don't go through all the numbers below, show benefits from existing consulting jobs or jobs with customers. Overall, in the study, we assume, and that's the feedback we get also from clients, that to stay competitive, ballpark figure, manufacturing costs need to be reduced significantly. The ballpark here is 20%. Please don't nail me down on this number, but it has to be significant, and we need to do this by digitization, getting the costs down, and also getting the efficiency of production up. So that's the overall sentiment. We're currently, and that was just mentioned, do a study ourselves as investor, which means as shareholder of plenty of young growth companies, where we just ask, because that's key for us as well, where do you stand with digitization? And it's not really surprising. 70% of the companies, they tell us, well, we have understood that there's pressure, we need to digitize. I hope that's not new for you. And we realized that this year we need to spend more than we did in the past, and in the following years as well. At the same time, we see, and this is the key takeaways on the right-hand side, that we do this because of pressure, that's clear. And the third bullet is a bit surprising, and we do this mainly in-house. We want to do something on our own. Typical make or buy question you probably all know is, we make. Since you're here, and since we're talking about manufacturing X in Industry Alliance 4.0, this already shows that you're ahead of this average, which is a very good thing. The last point is what I want to highlight here is what we still don't see very often is we're willing to also look outside, not only large corporations and partnerships like this, but to work with young innovative companies. And this is basically why I'm here, standing here, basically trying to make a point to you guys. I think make or buy should be more often be a very open and honest discussion. Is there something out there that might be worth looking at, where other young innovative guys, we just had a presentation from Rika, Orchestras or Sofico is a great example, already have a solution that's there that can be used with experience from other market participants, maybe other fields, which we don't need to do from scratch. And I think talking to hundreds of companies and investing in a lot of companies, very often this is not really an open discussion, and having a background myself for a couple of years in the industry. So I'm standing here to basically telling you and asking you, when thinking about make or buy and innovation and how and where do we want to spend money, let's look outside our Tellerrand, which is what the English word is. If you're lacking of the market reach, feel free to reach out to us. We screened thousands of companies in Europe, so if you understand what the issue is, where you're looking for, where you basically have your pain point, more than happy to discuss and have an open discussion about that. Maybe we can guide you to the right company that's there. And now changing perspective from a more higher level perspective, why is it important to back these companies? We just did a quick analysis, and this is not, well, you probably all know the hidden champions list from Wirtschaftswoche and future hidden champions, which is, I don't know, a couple of hundred companies rich, right? We just tried to nail down when were they founded. Not surprisingly, a lot of companies are pretty old, 1850 to 1900, and the size of the balloon is basically the number of companies. Then, also not surprisingly, we had First and Second World War, almost nothing. We had the Weimar Republic, and then after the war, and then the 15 or 20-year trenches, Wirtschaftswunder, obviously, the largest balloon, because this is just 15 years, is 45 to 60, and afterwards we're going down. Now, the obvious argument is, okay, it takes time. The younger we are, the less time these companies had. Now, what have most of these companies in common when going through them? They are not end product suppliers. They are suppliers to the industry, to the manufacturers, to the machine makers. So if you ask me what is common ground for most of them, they solved problems for the existing players and they brought innovation to the market. And this is basically how they started and what made them big. The same logic applies today. The difference is innovation and problems, they're becoming, as we know, we heard this yesterday, they're becoming more digital. So this balloon on the right-hand side, for me, also shows, and we have companies in there. We have in the last two balls, we have SAP in there, we have Software AG in there. Going to further right, we have TeamViewer in there, we have Celonis in there, but this is a few numbers, right? If we want to make this ball bigger, and we need to make it bigger in order to keep our industry and our Germany and European market competitive, this ball needs to grow. And these young companies which are there, at a certain stage, they need support, they need the chance. This also was one of the topics of the World Economic Forum, as far as I know. What does this mean on the other hand? How can you all help? It's not becoming an investor. I mean, we're open to co-investments all the time. We invest a lot, but that's not the point here today. The point I want to make is the bottom, the right-hand box. Look outside, have an open and honest discussion about make or buy, give these companies a chance, and when you give them a chance, what's super tough for young companies that they're not in Berlin and doing quick apps which you can buy, try to be as efficient like we heard it before the Americans do, give them a quick chance. 6 to 12 months PwC and another 12 months negotiating the contract doesn't work for these young companies. It works, but this means there is no growth. There are big difficulties for them to develop, and at some point they either disappear because they're acquired by a large one, or they just disappear because they gave up and prefer to get hired by somebody else. So that's basically, I think, it. It was pretty quick. Happy to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Matthias. Thank you. Do we have any questions in Slido or any questions from the audience here? There is a question. No. Okay, it was a hello. Anybody else with questions here? Otherwise, we would proceed to the next topic. Here's the QR code, which you can use to post your questions. I think that's it, but Matthias is going to stay here for the rest of the day. If you have any questions.
Happy to discuss, and even afterwards, hopefully you have my contact details. Thank you.
Thank you.